Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight is Spooky Madison. How's it going, Spooky?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
How'd you come up with that name, Spooky?
That's a long story. It started off as a joke with my mom. I love horror movies, and one day I texted her and said, how many likes on Facebook do I need to get in order to change my name legally to Spooky? And she severely underestimated my reach on social media. And she said something ridiculous like 200. And I was like, okay, bet. So I never actually ended up changing it legally, but I definitely made more than 200 likes on Facebook.
That is wild. I like that nickname. It's clever, and no one will never forget it. So when they see you, be like, yo, Spooky, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. So you're the main star in this upcoming film, which is directed by Stephanie Hensley, called The Demons Within. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And also, when you did the role, how much preparation and studying did you take to get into that very dark person of yourself in the film, of the character? I mean, did you do a little method acting, or how'd you prefer yourself to get very dark?
So my character, Izzy Wagner, is a 17-year-old girl. She's very typical when it comes to her emotions, as any 17-year-old would. And she's going through hard times with her parents, and it kind of just spirals a little bit out of control in terms of self-harm and feelings of doubt in herself and in her home life and her boyfriend. So we start to see her unravel pretty quickly, and the question is she going through a depressive and manic episode that's rooted in mental illness, or is she being possessed by a demon? And I mean, to get in the role, I did a lot of research on possessions. I watched pretty much every possession movie that there is, from Evil Dead, which I believe is a possession movie, all the way to The Shining, which is also a possession movie in its own way. I love pretty much everything when it comes to like demon possession. I think it's really an interesting subject. So I studied possession movies, but I also studied the different types of demons that usually do the possessing. And I did so much research. In fact, the director said, all right, slow down. We don't need an actual demon on set. Because I was like, I was writing the symbols down, and I was writing their names down, and I was like learning Latin. And I had to stop because she was like, you're going to bring a demon on the set. You need to slow your roll, kid. So
that's pretty wild. I'm surprised she didn't talk to a demonologist. They probably would have gave you some great info too.
I ended up talking to someone from Ohio University who studies Latin, so I know my Latin is correct at least. I don't know how I would even get in contact with a demonologist, if I'm being honest with you.
I know one. See, you could have reached out to me. I would have hooked you up, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, your mother, who is Alicia Seaton, who plays your mother in the film, in the film, I heard you really get really intense and really get her all scared of you. I mean, you got her real in the character, and did she let you get away with it? Trying to mess with her and get very intense with her.
Yeah, I did not hold back when it came to Alicia, because our scenes together were so intense. And I mean, I had warned her beforehand. I told her I'm going to bring 100% to these scenes because they're very important to the storyline. And there was one moment in a scene that we shared together where I felt like her only authentic reaction would have been to slap me, to get me out of whatever I was, whatever mindset I was in. And she was really apprehensive about that. And I was like, listen, like, I've been like hit, in a role before, and there's a way to do it. And like, so we practiced a couple times. But unfortunately, when it came to shoot, I was so into the role and I was so into breaking her mentally that I forgot that the slap was coming. So she slapped me, and it actually ripped my sclera black contact thank God we had another pair, but it actually ripped the contact in my eye. That's how hard she saw me. It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I bet you liked it, and you're probably like, damn.
Yeah, it looks probably really good, honestly.
So how was it when you got like the SFX makeup on you and all that? How time consuming was that, especially with the contacts and everything?
So I was able to learn how to put the contacts in and out myself very quickly. There was a scene where I had to have them out, and then 30 seconds later I had to have them back in. And we didn't want to cut. We wanted a one continuous shot. So we ended up like the camera was over here filming two people while I was like crawling on the floor and put my contacts in and crawled back. So I learned how to do that really quickly. The makeup itself didn't take too long because we went with a more subtle approach. We did have like some FX veins. We had some gaunt cheekbones and some eye bags and the contacts and the chapped lips. We didn't go like Evil Dead on the set, but we definitely the special effects artist, her name's Sarah Beth. She's actually the writer's daughter. She did really well, and she was very fast at what she did.
That's pretty wild. And like I said, I'm so looking forward to seeing. I can't wait. Let's talk about another talented actress you work with on the film too, Jessica Napier. She plays your best friend, and also there been some pretty intense scenes between you guys as well.
Yeah, we shared most of our scenes together were very intense. I mean, all of the scenes in the movie in general are really intense, but her scenes, I had to go somewhere pretty dark in order to do it. And when I read the script, I was appalled by what my actions were. And thankfully, Jessica and I, we were really close now, and we were able to talk every single night while we stayed in the cast house about this scene. And we talked about our movements, and we talked about the reactions that each of us would have. And thankfully, she trusted me to not do anything, like beyond what we spoke about. And it's gonna make the audience's stomach turn. I mean, our own director and AD and our cameraman had to look away during the playback because it was so just nasty.
Ooh, I can't wait. So when you were in character, I know there's scenes you just said where you were in it and you didn't like slightly get out of it because you were like deep into like your character. Was there times where you had to, after your scene was over, was there times where you just left the set and you had to be by yourself until you got back to your normal self?
Most of the times when I was on set, even before shooting, I had my headphones in because I had to get to a pretty dark place, and I listened to specific music, and I didn't really talk much to people. And then when, like, closer to the end of the day, I was able to, like, kind of find myself again and come back and be funny and interact a little bit better with people. But most of the day I was in headphones.
That's pretty good. And also there's a great cast. You get to work with a lot of great stars. Let's talk about Andre Gower from The Monster Squad. He plays like a priest. What was it like to be with him and Lambert on the set and working with him?
So I was only on set with both of them for one day, and they were great guys. I mean, I talk to Ryan Lambert like twice a week now, and I mean, they were really fun. They're super talented, and I remember before the scene, it's the big scene in the whole movie is with both of them. And before the scene, we were outside of the house where we were filming. We were talking about our blocking and our choreography and what we were going to do. And we had so much fun. I mean, I manhandled both of them. It was a lot of fun to like get very physical and make a genuine and scary performance out of it.
That has to be fun. I can't wait to see it. I've had Ryan Lambert on my podcast before. He's a really cool dude. He talked about experience where he stayed at a haunted hotel, but that's like a different story. But also you worked with another, she like a she's kind of like a scream girl, final girl too. You got to work with Deborah Foreman. She's done a lot of horror too. What was that like working with Deborah Foreman? And it seems like she's going to be playing a very wicked person.
So Deborah's character, I mean, she and I share one scene together, and within that scene, she has an entire character arc because, I mean, she starts off as a nurse who's tired of her job. She's been run down. I mean, she's been doing it for decades. And as soon as she encounters whatever's inside of me, her whole demeanor changes. Something happens. And I won't go into too much of it.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it, yeah.
But working with her was really awesome. She also was really concerned for our well-being with all of my studying that I did. So she's very like holistic and spiritual. So she did kind of a ritual and a protection offering for all of the cast and crew. So that was really nice.
So how were you approached to the film, and did Stephanie Hensley reach out to you?
Stephanie did reach out to me. She actually slid into my Facebook DMs. She knows Tori Jones, who directed Phantom Fun World.
Great guy.
Yeah, and she apparently reached out to him and asked if he knew anybody who would be a great final girl. And my name was brought up, so she messaged me, and I auditioned, and probably a week later, I heard that I got the part. So
that's pretty good. I like Tori Jones. He's a cool guy. I got a chance to interview him at Horror Hound. Man, that guy's just a brilliant filmmaker. So
absolutely, yeah. Phantom Fun World's going to be amazing, and then this new movie, The Boy from Below, is going to be even better.
Yeah, I looked at that. I'm looking forward to seeing those films. Also, have you done, like, besides those films, have you did any other horror films, or do you do a wider range of films?
I do many different types of movies, but mostly it seems these days I've been in horror and thriller. I think something about, I don't know, my face maybe makes it seem that directors want to throw blood on it. I don't know. But it just seems that I'm covered in blood every day. So, but I do drama a lot, and the horror movies this year have been Wolf Hollow. That'll be out April 1st. And then Phantom and Demons. I'm trying to think if there's any other horror movies I've been in. I think that was it for last year. But I've been in plenty of others, drama and horror and thriller. So
Wolf Hollow's going to be fun, and you got and plus Hannah Fairman's in it. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, Hannah Fairman, Felissa Rose, everyone I kind of grew up watching is in it. So
oh, that's pretty awesome. So are you like a huge horror fan, and what really got you into horror?
Oh yeah, I love horror. I think I probably watch at least 2 horror movies a day. One when I get up and I'm cleaning the house, or one when I'm going to sleep. I don't know if anything really got me into it other than just watching them from a really young age. I think my first horror movie I ever watched was Nightmare on Elm Street. And then from then it went from that to Scream to Friday the 13th. And I don't know, there's something about it that just like makes me happy. I don't know. It's so weird, but horror makes me happy.
Really? So what does horror mean to you? How does it affect you? I know it makes you happy. What's your definition of horror in your opinion?
That's hard because horror movies don't scare me anymore. I mean, when I was young, I liked horror because it kind of took me out of my home life and in my head, and I was able to just kind of forget about whatever was going on, and I could enter a new world of fake trauma and horror, and I could kind of like focus on something else for once. But these days, I think it's just from a filmmaker standpoint. I really appreciate horror because I know the hard work that goes into it. I know that as an actor, horror will make or break you as like an actor. For instance, you could be the best comedy actor there is, and you could be put into a horror movie, and you can tell right away if someone isn't truly a good actor, because horror makes you feel all kinds of different emotions, and if you can't express that, like, it will be known. If you can't scream correctly, it will be known. If you can't cry in cue, you know. So I like the challenge of it as an actor, and I like the creativity of it as a filmmaker.
I think it is too. You got to have a certain mindset and skill to be able to, perfect a horror film. Besides an actor, especially a writer and a director, and especially a cinematographer, because you got to get those right certain scenes and panoramic scenes just right too. I mean, I think being in a horror film is probably a little bit harder than being in any other type of film, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're not like in films and like in horror and being covered with blood, I know you love being covered with blood. What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
I'm a tattoo artist, so I
Ooh.
enjoy art.
Wow, that's interesting. What was the most memorable ink you ever did, and the most what the fuck did I just do type of tat?
I tattooed a camel outline on my friend's big toe. That was probably the most like, what the fuck? And I think the most memorable was probably any of them that I did on my girlfriend, my partner. She let me do a whole sleeve on her, so those are always really memorable, only because I see them every day. But
that's pretty wild. I'm gonna have to come out in your neck of the woods in the near future and have you do some more ink on me. I got tons of ink too, so that's pretty cool. So what got you into being a tattoo artist doing ink? What drove you to do that? Were you into art growing up?
Oh, absolutely. I was always found doodling or with a pencil in my hand drawing something. I mean, I really got into tattooing because I worked at a tattoo shop as the counter person in my early 20s. And then I worked at various tattoo shops since then. And now I own my own private studio. That's
pretty wild, man. I like that. I didn't know that. That's a good. That was a good question. That's amazing. I mean, so do you get like a lot of well-known people that come and reach out to you to get some ink done, or?
No, I mean, I get a lot of musicians mostly. A lot of like death metal and punk people come to me to get tattooed. I was at a Cleveland, Ohio mosh festival probably like a month and a half ago, and I've already tattooed 3 of the people that I met there, and they're just fun guys. I mean, they want cool stuff like daggers and chains, so that's the kind of stuff I like to tattoo.
That's pretty cool. And let's go back to the Demons Within. So what does the audience suspect when they first finally watch this film? What's going to be their wow factor?
They're probably going to hate my character.
I can see that already. I mean, you just got that cool, nice face and stuff, and and I'm afraid to see it because I'll probably get mad at you too.
You feel for her, but she makes decisions that you kind of roll your eyes at. I mean, she's a 17-year-old girl, so she's definitely that signature horror girl who makes dumb decisions and then gets possessed, and then she comes out of it or she doesn't. Who knows?
Also, the actor who plays your father in the film, he seems like he's a pretty interesting character. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
Yeah, JF Davis, he is a really cool guy. He was actually the executive producer as well. He plays my father, Glenn Wagner. He's kind of your basic distant dad. He doesn't really care or know what's going on with Izzy. He's just annoyed with her because she's just disrupting their seemingly perfect lives. I mean, my mom and dad are both doctors, and Izzy is supposed to be this, smart, going to college girl, but she's just really not doing anything with her life, and she's sad all the time, and her boyfriend's a loser too, So I wouldn't say he hates Izzy, but he doesn't he doesn't show any interest until like the last 40 minutes of the film where he realizes something's really wrong.
Ooh. I mean, already it sounds pretty good. It sounds like a real talented cast, you know. Because I love indie horror. I always support indie horror, you know. I think some of it's better than some of the mainstream Hollywood films. That's just my opinion, but there's some great ones out there. I mean, you know, and I'm just really, really looking forward to it. It's something different you wouldn't see this type of film. I mean, I'm like you. I've seen a lot of possession films too, but this one, for some reason, seems kind of unique in the sort of way.
Yeah, I think it is because in a lot of possession movies, you're getting the point of view of the family, and then there's like the possessed person who's being, you know, tied to a bed and stuff. But this whole movie is from the point of view of Izzy and the demon.
Ooh, so what type of demon is it? Is it like one of the main hordes of Hades type of demon, or what type of demon is it? I mean, there's so many different types of classes of demons.
So the demon, I would say plural actually, demons that are in Izzy is what's called a legion.
Okay.
And I mean, all of the demons that you kind of see that were most prominent in the Necronomicon, and any of the ones that kind of represent the deadly sins, I'd say.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
So when will the? I know you guys are still filming, and you know, for the film. When will we see that come out?
So filming wrapped in September.
Okay.
And they are going to be done editing, I'm told, by this weekend. And there's going to be a new teaser trailer being released this upcoming week. And then we're looking at an early summer or late spring release.
Okay, is it going to be shown at any like horror film festivals?
I know that there's going to be an Ohio premiere, and then I think they're going to try to put it into festivals. And they might do a short festival run, and then they're going to go straight to streaming distribution. That's
pretty cool. I would love to see it show up at Nightmares Film Festival in Columbus or Horror Hound in Cincinnati. Those are some great fun horror film conventions and festivals.
Yeah, we tried to talk to some people at Horror Hound, but I think it's too late to submit anything for them. And then Nightmares in October, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I live in Columbus, so any excuse to not have to travel very far is always my go-to.
Yeah, I live in Cincinnati, but Nightmares Film Festival is a great festival for like horror films and horror shorts. And when you go there, you feel like you're part of the family. It's just so welcoming. There's no judging. Everybody just gets along, and they show some great films. And I went last year for the first time to cover it. It's a fun festival. It's at the Gateway Film Center in Columbus, and that theater's phenomenal to see a film in.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Shane Thompson, who plays my boyfriend, goes to Nightmare almost every year. So, I mean, maybe it's an option.
Exactly. So, where can everybody find you on social media, and also the Demons Within, so they can follow and see what happens next?
So the Demons Within official is Instagram and Facebook, and then my Instagram is the Goodbye Ghoul, and I'm Spooky Madison. My page on Facebook is Spooky Madison. You can follow me there. That's really it. I finally got a Twitter, but I don't know how to use it very well, so...
Hey, Twitter's where it's at. Once you learn it, you'll have fun. I mean... You'll meet like some interesting people on there. I mean, you'll meet some like crazy people on there too. And it's a great place to social network too, man. I like the whole Twitter feed.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I think I need to follow more people.
Yeah, you should. Follow me and you can learn something.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on out of your busy schedule, to share your story and talk about the Demons Within.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I've been doing a lot of press, but this is one of the more fun interviews I've had.
Oh, stop it. Really? I love it. All right, everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop.